Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Huiqi's Arknights Podcast, TAP. If you click this video by mistake, I am sure you are looking for a walkthrough video, but trust me, I'm not the content creator who posts walkthrough videos constantly. If you are listening, you are either trying to get the spoilers or you are listening to on 3 to 5 months after this episode is uploaded and CC7 is being announced. For this episode, I'll tell you about my personal experience about Contingency Contract 7, Pine dated late November to early December 2021 in Chinese server. For previous CC, which was CC6, I didn't get to experience much due to other commitments such as internship. As a result, I only achieved risk 1 clear in that permanent map. Fortunately, I got to enjoy CC7 to the fullest, and I'll tell you some facts and some tips for CC7. Since I'm going to talk about the future content, you can stop right here if you are not comfortable with the spoilers. And I welcome you when CC7 arrives in global servers. Before we move on, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and I'll entertain you with more Arknights content. Now, let's continue. First, let's address the permanent map. The map name is Huiqi Foothills, though the name translation is not official yet. Huiqi Foothills is similar to most stages you'll tackle in Who is Real event, and there are only 5 enemies you should take care of: Smarty, Envy, Blindy, Bitey, and Free. Out of all enemies, there are several risks with buffs, Smarty, and Envy, while risks related to Free, the boss, are not really easy. As a result, one of the challenges is harder to be clear compared to the risk 18 clear challenge. Because not only Free has its HP, attack, and resistance increase, you had to fight against Free with DP regeneration speed reduced by 50%. And the DP cost of snipers, castles, and guards will be double, along with 50% extra of redeployment time. Speaking of risk 18, I searched the walkthrough videos in Bilibili, including the low rating runs, and all I can say is at least 90% of the runs are similar. I cannot say 100% since I found one video which is different, but I couldn't say 99% either as I already checked a dozen of videos. For the most of the walkthrough videos, Chain Outer is the main DPS. The only one video I found air formation is from a content creator named ZZ, and he used Ifrit skill tree as his DPS instead. If you're asking, how about Surtur? Personally, I used the Chain Outer strategy, but I deployed Surtur anyway to finish off Free. The following trick is about achieving risk 18 clear with Chain Outer strategy. Like I said, the walkthrough videos using this strategy are similar, so I did not do the walkthrough video until CC7 arrives in English server using mostly high-end operators. I'll explain here. You'll search on Bilibili, or you can refer to Mr. Gotcha's run on YouTube, and you get the idea. You don't need to follow my guides for 100%, but I hope you get the general concept on getting a risk 18 clear. First, it comes to risk selections. At first, I'm not choosing any risk 3 contracts at all. You can select risk 2 contracts related to Smarty because they will collide at the middle of the map. It is safe to select risk 2 contracts related to Envy as well because they are spawned before Free. For risk selection which are related to Free, you can either choose risk 1 or ignore them, because we are going to choose the attack speed decrease risk. Choose DP increase for medics, defenders, and supporters. In my run, only a few medics and one defender will be used, such as Calcit, Nero, and Shining. You can bring lesser 2 as well because her cost will be 6, which is still cheap, and her advantage is you cannot count her in the deployment limit. Speaking of deployment limit, I chose the 5 operators deployment limit plus 6 tiles unavailable to be deployed. None of the tiles right in the middle where Free was there will be crossed out. If you are not confident about DP regeneration, you can choose risk 1 instead, but you need to increase 1 risk for enemy buffs to compensate that. Done with risk selections, now let's go for the operator's selection. Aside from Chain Outer, which you will be using her skill tree mastery tree, Myrtle is a must. Myrtle is still a meta despite several CCs, and I have a video explaining about her. You need 2 fast redeploy specialists as well, and you will need at least one of them which has the capability to stun enemies, such as Project Rest skill 2 or Phantom skill 3. I brought Calcit as well because her monster can be redeployed after 25 seconds, while it is a DPS unit in which its DP is cheaper than a defender. Surtur is also highly recommended since she can finish off free, and she could attack his shield as well. In conclusion, Chain Outer, Surtur, Calcid, and Metal are the top operators I recommend to take advantage of in the combat. In my run, I deployed Myrtle, Courier, Bagpipe, Gravel, Project Red, Surtur, Calcid, Hoshiguma, Near, Yato, Shiny, and Chain Outer. Also, I picked up Exercise, but turned out I didn't need her anyway, so. Moving on to the gameplay, there are several tricky parts you need to take note. Number 1. Since the DP regen race is being chosen, Myrtle remains deployed for the whole duration, unless she was being KO'd by free by accident. If you need to activate her skill earlier, entry her skill 1 and or breaking Bagpipe will help. Number 2. Speaking of Bagpipe, you need 2 additional Vanguards to fend off the first few Bites from the bottom left spawn point before the first envy spawns. If you are using 3-star operators, an additional sniper like Cruz will help the Vanguards as well. Number 3. Deploy Chain Outer and activate her skill as soon as she is ready. Number 4. It's okay to lick the very first blinding despite you have Chain because there is no objective the last 10 risk for this CC. Number 5. Once envy starts spawning, retrieve all Vanguards except Myrtle. When envy walks into Chain's third skill attack range, use fast redeploy operators to stop them so Chain can deal them with ease. Repeat until second wave of Smarty spawns, then you must retrieve all operators near the center of the map. Number 6. As soon as free spawns, use fast redeploy operators and or monster to block it, forcing it to activate the issue. Then retreat. Do not use Surtur yet at this point, because free has 2 lives. Number 7. There will be 2 firecrackers provided, so use them wisely. In my case, the first firecracker is used on second Smarty from left hand side when the final wave of Smarties spawn. Remember, Smarties after free can be annoying as the number spawned from both sides will be uneven. I applied the second firecracker during the final wave for blinding from left hand side, but after it changed attribute. Hence, it is from white to black and back to white. Number 8. Once you have dealt with all enemies before free, it is time to erase it. Deploy defenders in front of free to block its movement. In this case, I chose Monster and Near, and finish off with Chain and Surtur. Chain Outer strategy is the most popular strategy because of her skill tree combined with her talent. But as I mentioned about Ifrit skill tree strategy, let me explain about that strategy briefly. The video link is posted in the video description and pinned comment, and feel free to watch how Zexy, one of the most well-known Arknights content creator in Bilibili, created this strategy first before using Chain Outer strategy. In Ifrit skill tree strategy, you can safely choose risk tree challenges for free, provided the fact that Ifrit skill tree is mastered to the max. Once free shield is activated, activate Ifrit skill tree to burn its shield down before the explosion. Otherwise, surprisingly, the strategy was similar compared to the more popular Chain Outer strategy. Moving on to the daily rotation map challenges. The maps are as follows. Windswept Highland, which was the permanent map of CC3 Operation Cinder. Abandoned Mine, which was the permanent map of CC4 Operation Let's Steal. Arena 8, which was the permanent map of the CC5 Operation Spectrum. Howling Same Plains, which was the permanent map of CC6 Operation Wild Scales. Loadout Prison, Abandoned Floors, and Blazing Cavern. Among these maps, Howling Same Plains and Blazing Caverns replaced Deserted Factory and Area 6 routes. Say goodbye to Faust and W, and say hello to Pompeii. Speaking of Pompeii, it is the new boss for the new rotation map named Blazing Caverns. Of course, the map names are not officially translated, but let's call it that for now. For the first 2 days when I encountered this stage, I find Pompeii annoying. Just like in Heart of Surging Flame event, Howling Same Plains stage is also a hard one for me because I skipped CC6 and remain unfamiliar with how enemies work in the stage. In terms of daily challenges, I found out Windswept Highlands could be tough when you wanted to pass the Race A challenge with your operators having their HP reduced to 50%. The rest of the stages are simple. I do think Abandoned Floors or East Harmony 2.0 will be annoying since the introduction since CC6. So, in terms of challenges difficulty, you must be aware of Blazing Caverns, Windswept Highlands, and Howling Same Plains. Meanwhile, you can complete the challenges on Abandoned Mines and Abandoned Floors easily. A better floor mess is less annoying than its armory, honestly. Last but not least, the CC shop. For this season, Arc skin is being introduced for 300 tokens, and you must buy that to complete the CC7 metal set. Siege skin is also being reintroduced since CC0, and for material shop, polymerization preparation is available as the only tier 5 material. Tier 4 materials like polymerized gel, optimized devices, and cathode colloid will be up for grabs as well. If you are lazy to grind stage 2 4, Ori Rock classes are available to save your time, only if you manage to clear daily challenges. So, if you ask me what I think about CC7, well, I could say CC7 is quite a challenge, in comparison to CC5 which was concluded recently in global servers. I did enjoy both seasons of conditioning contracts, albeit with the fact that CC7 started in CN server 4 days before CC5 ends in global servers. And did you know that CC7 is the second event which started on Monday Eastern or Wednesday or Thursday, right after the night side story event? Whereas the joint operation banner returns in 1 week before CC7 arrives, featuring Saga, Surtur, Phantom, and Swans as the only 6-star operators available. I was lucky to recur Surtur in the nick of time. The overall experience of CC7 is quite good, I could say, and Hypergrid followed your star's footsteps by posting time tables for daily rotation maps, although the timetable was posted in Weibo for 2 different occasions, first week and second week. In my opinion, the overall difficulty of the season is a little tougher than CC5, because you need to get the timing right to finish off most of the enemies in the Permanent CC stage. Operators like Chen Outer, Sutter, and Myrtle will shine in this season. Well, Myrtle always shines in every Permanent CC stage. Why not? Towards the end of the podcast, I would like to say that I appreciate my times with making the videos just to entertain new viewers. It's been a year now since I uploaded my first Arknights video. The problem is, what do you think about this episode of Arknights Podcast? If you like it, leave a like or comment and feel free to ask about CC7. That's all about the Surugi's Arknights Podcast today. Thanks for listening.